It's another exciting election season here in the great state of California, and I'm reminded of my favorite quotation by Chairman Mao Zedong: "All political power grows out of the voting booth." Now, I am not a liberal, I am a leftist, and as a leftist, I understand what the liberals do not, which is that we cannot vote our way out of the manifold crises that beset our city, our state, and our nation. However, as voters, we can engage in harm reduction. I do not see voting as some great civic act. I also don't see it as a kind of moral endorsement or moral signaling. I think about it like cleaning my toilet, an annoying and disruptive exercise that is occasionally necessary to prevent my house from smelling like shit. Now, I do not have, nor am I ready to give you my voting guide for the California primary and general election. For the first time in my life, I find myself being courted by multiple leading candidates across several major races to provide an endorsement, as if the endorsement of a chronically underemployed online shitposter would somehow be useful to their cause. I'm not ready to do that yet, but what I am going to encourage you to do is not police the decisions that other people decide to make in terms of their vote. Some people believe very strongly that they need to be 100% or at least 90% ideologically aligned with the candidate that they put on the ballot. Others believe that they need to be most aligned with the candidate likeliest to win. Still others are hoping for a mix of the two. People have different tactics and different strategies. Voters have different moral red lines. And if someone has decided that certain candidates cross those red lines, it's not really your job to police them and try and change their voting behavior. Especially if you, like me, are a leftist who understands that elections are a very imperfect solution to the series of mounting problems that face our society. So I encourage you neither to subject your audiences to constant purity testing regarding the candidates that they choose to support. But I would also encourage you not to keep pushing the fiction that it is realistic to only vote for the lesser of two evils, as that strategy has a clear track record of bringing us to a point where our only options seem to be evil. I did not vote for Kamala Harris 2 years ago. In fact, I turned down thousands of dollars from Democrat PACs to shill for their chosen politicians, because every time I thought about doing that, I heard the voice in my head of the 5-year-old Palestinian girl Hind Rajab as she called for help after her family was killed by an Israeli tank, paid for by my tax dollars and signed off by my party. But I'm also a resident of California. I was not in a swing state. My vote didn't really matter, so I chose to use it symbolically. I wrote in Dr. Rashid Haldi, who is the Edward Said Professor at Columbia University, and an author and historian that I personally respect. Because I figured if Palestine was my red line for voting for the Democrats, I should vote for a Palestinian as a form of protest. My friends in North Carolina, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, they had different logic. Theirs was the logic of harm reduction. They had different considerations than someone in a deep blue state. So I don't judge them for voting Democrat in 2024, any more than I hope they don't judge me for not doing that. You're gonna get told every election that it's the most important election of your lifetime. Now, Angelenos have a chance to elect a new mayor and Californians a new governor. They're gonna make their choices based on a variety of factors, some of them strategic and some ideological. It's not really your job to police those decisions. What you can do is increase the criminally small percentage of the Californian population between the ages of 18 and 40 that is actually registered to vote. If you believe voting is important to you, perhaps by increasing that number, you'd get a little bit closer to your desired result.